Hi, everybody. It's once again time to rank 8-bit Nintendo games. I'm Jeff Gerstmann. We've built ourselves quite a list over the past year and change. 337 games on the list. At the bottom, Operation Secret Storm. Hell of a game. And as we scroll through up to the top here, what's at the top? Number 1, Mega Man 2. But we still have hundreds of games left to play. This week, we're going to play another batch of them. This batch was largely selected by the Gerstmann Advisory Panel. If you'd like to sign up, you can today, right now, over at patreon.com/Jeff Gerstmann. You can also go to dopeassvideogames.com. We'll get you there. And you can join the advisory panel, and then you can suggest games for this list, and well, that oftentimes goes great. It's been a rough few weeks for suggestions lately, but we've got to rank everything eventually. So it's been nice to have some of these games out of the way. You know, I may never have to think about the NES version of Who Framed Roger Rabbit ever again. For the rest of my days. That doesn't mean I won't think about them, but it means I will never have to. Hopefully. Why don't we get into it? Our first game this week. Another Capcom game. Capcom has had a pretty good a pretty good run here on the NES. I may venture that this is when, many people first heard of Capcom when the NES was a thing, where they made their bones. Obviously, they were in arcades doing things, but I feel like I first heard about them when games like Ghosts and Goblins and Commando and such were coming. Well, I guess that's not true, because I'd played the arcade version of Commando. You don't really think about companies in arcades. You're just walking around playing stuff. Either way, this game was only released in the United States. And I think it combines, like, you see some, we'll get to it. This is Strider. The Striders. They are the toughest group of people who execute acts such as infiltration, abduction, explosion, instigation, etc. They sound like some bad dudes. Sheeta. Kane. Who is this? We don't get a name for that guy. Whoever that guy is a mystery. And then here's a weird dragon and space dragon. This guy is still running. Is he running towards the dragon spaceship? This is like a Joust sequel happening over here. And then there's a guy running. There's a lot of things, I guess, falling out of space. He's making great strides to get where he's going. I have a sword, he says. I've stopped running. Oh, shit. I guess that guy's name is just Strider then. I mean, how would we know otherwise, I guess? Okay. Hear You. Maybe that's his name. I don't know. Maybe that's just how this guy starts all his phone calls. This guy looks like, if aside from the scar here, if you told me this guy was a major player in the synth pop scene of the early 80s, I would believe you. You told me that, this is the guy. I mean, he's not in Information Society, but he got them together. But he was in a band 8 years before that, and he did a whole thing. And he's got a legendary career. And You know, went on to become a massive producer. There's only one reason I asked for you to come for. Kane was captured by the... Oh, wait, I thought this was Kane. Since they once knew who he is, rescuing him is meaningless. That's right. Kill him. But I thought Kane was with us. Kill Kane? I can't do it. We'll find him first. Man, already the game's starting with intrigue. You know, you not being able to follow orders. We don't have any files to be analyzed here. Kazakh. This is the only place we can go. So the moves at our disposal are sword, walking, crouching. We have a jump, and also we can point the sword up for effect. This is a very silly walk. Can I get shocked by the lightning? No. We have a subs. We do have a sub screen, right? Yeah. We've got an H max. We've got an E max. We've got an S level. We got some tricks here, but no tricks on the menu. He's ready to walk up a hill. He doesn't... Oh, this guy's got a gun. See, we kind of... You move a little faster walking down. All right, we got a pipe. It's like Super Mario Brothers, but he's got a sword. You know, you got pipes. I can't remember if there's a benefit to just like murdering guys in this game. If there's like a generic XP level that you get for doing murders. Ah! Getting lit up by this guy. That's a pipe, but it's a one-way pipe. Oh no! Gotta try again. That's why it's a one-way pipe. We gotta try and actually make that jump. Maybe I can't make it yet. Do I have to... We're gonna die here. I don't think I have enough life to get over these spikes. Yeah. Okay, well, let's just die. We'll lay down. We'll take a nap. Oh, so tired. We gotta kill Kane. I guess the Striders just live in a weird mounted dragon in the sky. Which is, you know, it's pretty clean living if you can afford it. Some people have said that this game is like barely held together. like just that aspects of it are really shoddily programmed in ways that make it so you could find a lot of weird glitches and stuff without too much work. But I don't know, like it's weird, you know, like, yeah, you see some stuff like guys clipping through the bottom there and oh geez. I don't know if I can do this. I you know, maybe I just need to go for it here and just... No, see, you have to get up there. We're dead again. I forget what I'm, you know, maybe I'm just I just need to time that jump. Just need to time that jump. We'll die again and it'll be faster to do that. This like weird chest forward run that he's got is really weird. Seems to come out of the crotch of the guy riding the dragon. Now, there have been other Strider games over the years. This is the first one I ever played. Okay, we need to move over if we wanted to go that route. If we fall and drift to the right a little, I guess maybe we could still do that. Maybe that's still going to be the best way to get this done. We don't have an S3. We have not enacted the S3. We got a floppy disk. File number 1. We'll analyze that back at base, I guess. It just fell out of the sky when we got here. You get weirdly hung up on this wall here if you kind of brush up against it. And we're going to walk through this and it's going to make a weird... It's going to just do that. Why? I don't know. We got a sign here what says police. Alright, we don't need to go back up. The sword makes a different noise when you're hitting walls. I think that's kind of cool. Oh, drugs. Jumping while you're walking down it. Like this, you know, in some ways, the movement here could be better. The, like, running jump off of a downward slope is weirdly... is weird. The whole thing is just... Do we need to go over here first? I cannot remember. Or does this just lead back to... Okay, here we got an S1 door. We do have key number 1. You know, like, lack of hit reactions when you take damage is, you know, a choice. We had to wait for this man to spawn. We leveled up. Please wait, a cane is up there, and the commander has the key. You'll find it if you analyze this. That's where they got the name for the movie. Please let me go. We either take damage from this or we need magnet boots to go this way. Yeah, we need magnet boots to go this way. So, you know, like in some ways, kind of a Metroid-esque game. You know, there's a little bit of search action in this. It's an interesting game because in a lot of ways, this game feels like a proto DuckTales, where you kind of go back and you have your map and you know, you have to go to the right places in the right order and all of that. But then also, you know, you are kind of also getting abilities and, you know, leveling up and stuff. And so, like, in some ways, it's deceptive, like an open world game. Also, we got the slide. All right, we do not have an S2. A little slowdown for you. All right, we've done that flashy thing, and now I think that it's like almost like it's loading the other half of the level. If I want to say is what that is. I don't think we have a. Oh, okay, we can't hit a button until... No, we cannot. Did I use something? Well, I hit the A button, but I did not burn any of my E, so... I don't have any tricks. I think we have to walk all the way back to the beginning, if I remember right. You do eventually get a trick that is leave level. If I remember right. Okay. It takes a while for that. There's a thing across this game where, like, you walk in that room and then the guy appears, or just like things take time. Like, you hit that button and it takes a while for the icon where you select a floppy disk to appear. Like, there's just a lot of weird moments in this game that feel broken. I'm Ryuzaki, a Strider. I like this game because it builds this universe of Striders that doesn't really get touched on much. I left my attack boots in China. Can you find them? Yeah, let me go to China and find a pair of boots. Keep in mind, that floppy disk fell out of the sky when we walked into a room. That's how that guy got in touch with us. He's like, whoop, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's me. I'll go to Egypt via Phantom Train. Don't lose the prisoner. Okay. So it won't let us go to China. We can go to Australia now. But he said he was going to take the Phantom train. I want to see what Australia's all about. We probably don't go here yet. Strider, hear you, is here to learn the ancient art of breakdancing. I can't do that, can I? Yeah, I can come down here and die. I fucked that up. I didn't even want to fall in this fucking hole. This is Australia for you. This is what it's like. So do I hit password to continue? Yeah, I guess so. Here we are on the Phantom train. Right, I guess he turns around. I guess the right move, the right play there is you wait and he eventually turns around. Cool. I'm here to put a stop to this Phantom train. Ah, yes. Egypt. If only I had some Chinese attack boots. You know, sort of like the arcade version of Strider, we're running down a hill and picking up speed as we go. I don't have a number 2 key, but maybe we'll get it going this way. Might not be the worst idea to just murder this man over and over again for drugs. There we go. But like, so you're gonna have to make weird jumps like this. Like, I probably could have made that longer jump back in Australia if I had just lined it up right, but there's just a lot of movement stuff in this game that feels fucked. And this jump is one of them. And sometimes you're like you hit a surface or just like your jump goes weird and you fall to the ground a lot more quickly than it feels like you should. I feel like I should probably go this way before I go the other way. See, like, not a lot of hit reactions out of that pillar. You might fuck up and turn around. You know, you might not realize that that's a thing you can do. Oh, I'm taking damage down here. Okay, I was not paying attention to that. Okay. So I guess we don't go that way. So, like, maybe I don't go that way yet. Do I need to get a rebreather? Do I need to get a, you know, like, what do I... The game is full of possibilities like that, of like, oh, maybe I need to get, you know, like you imagine the items you must be able to receive Yeah, it's boots, right? Yeah, it's you walk on water with boots. That is right. We've stopped the Phantom Train yet again. You know, not a lot of item pickup noises, you know? We're getting these health pickups and there's no pa-ding, you know, like nothing. If I had the attack boots, then my slide would do damage, I believe, is the story there. But this game is strange because it has like so little. So the arcade game came first. And this game does not have much in common with it. But like that's part of, like we think back to Commando and especially Bionic Commando. This is what Capcom was doing back then. You know, they were looking for ways to get more out of their arcade games than just doing simple ports. And trying to find ways to make different games that had longer legs, you know, than like, oh, hey, you got this game and you finished it in an hour because it was originally meant for you to put quarters in it or you know, or whatever. Like Capcom just instead decided to make totally different games, oftentimes with the same name, which is a weird way to go. They could have not done that. Okay, so you need a high jump here. There is some kind of wall. There we go. Made the wall jump work. That is, I think if you go back and watch videos of people that are dissecting this game and what its like issues are from a code perspective, the wall jump being like super fucking broken and janky is a big part of that. Aqua boots acquired. Okay, we got aqua boots. See, look at that boot. Look at those boots up there. Now we're going under all the water. Somewhere. Look at this. Look at how crazy this is. Look at how big this level. We're going through pipes that aren't even pipes. We brought, what the fuck? Hey, guess what? We broke the game. I didn't even mean to do that. What the hell is happening? No, for real though. What the fuck is happening? Am I running down? Am I up all the way at the top running down the pyramid? Yes, I am. Okay. We somehow, I found my bearings and we were able to leave the level. What the fuck just happened? I have never seen that happen. I know this game is janky, but I have finished this game on real hardware multiple times over the years. I have finished it on emulators a lot, and I have never seen that particular thing happen. So I don't know what to make of that. But we got the boots, so we need to use the boots. So we should go back to Egypt. Hopefully we will spawn in the right place since I was able to leave. Oh, we have to do the train again, huh? It's interesting. You get these enemies that really only take one hit to kill, but like they just, the way they walk and the way the sword swings, like you take more hits than it seems like you should in this game sometimes. Good on him for fixing the Phantom Train so quickly. Yeah, some of these jumps feel so bad. It's just like not even like where I'm jumping or whatever. It's just like the movement isn't right. It's like it just feels like the physics are so on the verge of flying apart at any moment. Look at this. Jesus. Evil shark. Oh, good. Okay. So if you hit the wall too low, it immediately kills your jump. Oh man. I think, you know, as a kid, you have a level of patience for fucked up shit in video games, especially when you've never seen, like, you know, video games are still a relatively new concept, right? And so I think there's a lot of stuff like this that flies under the radar. Oh, we've been stopped. Okay, what's this guy have to say? Why do striders have to disturb us? Oh, okay, I'll give this to you. Please don't kill me. Is there something else that's going to fall out of the sky here? Or have I just... Yeah. Key number 2. There was an S2 door. It's back by the edge of the pyramid, right? Where will this lead us? Will it break the game? Let's find out. Okay. Oh, this was the S2 door. So it's just a faster way out. I don't know. I found a pretty fast way out last time we were here. This was the other S2 door I was thinking of. This is just going to drop us at the edge so we can leave. Very convenient. We didn't get another disc though, right? We just have files 1 and 2. Yeah. We can't even go to China to get these attack boots. We got to go to Australia, I guess, huh? I love the tubes. The way these tubes work, the like floating around in these tubes in the sky, it's sky tubes. That's the future I want to live in. Yeah, exactly. It's just everywhere is like the bank. Or like banks from years ago. Well, now what am I supposed to do? Oh, do we go back to the first level, don't we? We die! We die in a pit of spikes. That's what we do. I was gonna say, this music has real end of the game sound to it, and going here and seeing that it is an S5 door makes me think that this is where the end of the game is. Like Capcom sending a very specific message with this backwards cock password here. I've had a lot of conversations about this game over the years. And I would classify myself as a staunch defender of Strider for the NES. But we have to set that aside in the name of science here today. That's a 3. And then this thing, it's like I imagine it's like loading almost. Because when you walk back through it, it does it again. It almost feels like it's like, oh, we're going to load the other half of the level. Again, there is some long video that I feel like I watched years ago, but could not tell you the specifics about now. About why this game is as kind of fucked up as it is. And it is pretty fascinating, like the way some of this stuff is built. But like for a game that was like relatively early, you know, for like I remember this as being among the first games I played on the platform when all is said and done. You know, there's a lot going on in this game. All right, S2 doors. So, uh-oh. Can you defeat my evil cyber unicycle? You striders? I have showed you Strider's power. Oh no, Kane. No, you're supposed to kill him. Just stand around for a while until a floppy disk falls out of the air. Oh, okay. This one at least like warps us back. Something awful is happening. You've got to get over there. It's Photoshop Friday. Okay, the Zane project, yeah, okay. Still no China. You gotta get these boots, man. Under the words of Vice Director, we can't leave past here. Okay. We shall kill anyone who comes close. Jeez. Okay. Is this because I didn't kill Kane? Oh shit, it's a samurai. Now I'm really fucked. Do I have any tricks? I got fire and medical. Okay. So I think with fire I can do this, right? No? I thought I could hold up and charge and then... No, okay, it's just... Okay, well I'm just burning my... I'm burning my E. Hi. There. He's gonna fix my Cypher so that I can shoot plasma. Is Cypher a legitimate name for a fucking sword, or were they just like playing fast and loose with language here? You got anything else to say? No? You just... Okay. Alright. Thanks! The Cypher is a sword in Elden Ring? Okay, alright. Takes a long time to charge. Boom. I can't believe I have to fight these... I mean, I can. I can absolutely believe that I have to fight these things again. Just here's a billion upgrades. Here you go. Let me give you 2 more tricks. And how about a floppy disk for your trouble? It's like we can keep scrolling over here. Like it was... We were trying to go to the minus world. Oh, come on. Like, look at this. What is happening here? It's, you know, it's because I'm touching the wall. I'm trying to go up and over. Well, I'm glad we did that. Am I missing something? Yeah, I mean, I was like, yeah, I don't have enough E to use jump, so I had to not use it there, but didn't look like there was any other way to go. Oh, I got a disc, right. I got a new disc to analyze. Zane is a dreadful weapon created by the Syndicate. It penetrates into your mind and makes you crazy. Oh, shit. I've been meaning to go to China. This works out great. I got some boots I got to pick up. Oh, no. You'll be sent to your grave by me, Mr. Kane. Same. My sister was the same when she lost her mind. Zane, I'll destroy you till it's the last circuit. Sheena, please take care of Kane. I know you're off screen, but it's fine. That's gaming right there. This is fucking pathos. All right, we've seen just about everything we need to see here, I think. This music feels like it fell out of the Golgo 13 game. All right, we got multiple choices for pipes, or I could just walk off this edge and see what happens. Look at this evil contraption. What am I to do with it? It's been long enough since I've played this that I don't know what the right path is, so I don't know if me walking off the edge there is like a good idea or a bad idea, but it was an idea. Found these magnet boots. Okay, that means we can go back to the first level again, but we were looking for attack boots, I thought. Here's a guy. I did not go to your room. That's such a video game of this era thing. Like, hee hee hee, did you go to my room? Probably takes us back, right? Yeah. Okay, so... Oh, right, that was a one-way pipe. See the arrow? So, really, our only options were go down into this spot or fall off, so... Well, we have to go to his room. We have the magnet boots now, so we can theoretically do that. There's glitches happening above us. Everyone just play it cool. And it'll all work out fine. Magnet boots. I can't stop playing. I gotta give this game credit. Like, it's busted, man. There's so much movement and just like physics and whatever else. Like, there are so many aspects about this game that are what numbers appeared on that guy for a second. Did you see that, or am I freaking out? But I think, you know, especially for its time, again, you know, I think DuckTales would kind of go on and do a similar thing. Though without as much, I don't know, without as much gear. Like, this game really is more like it does kind of have that Metroid-ish sort of touch of like, no, you need the boots to do this. I'm pretty sure I just double jumped. I'm pretty sure I just wall jumped off of nothing there for a sec. We've got some E. Let's use it. Oh, good. Right, we need a little bit of, we need just a touch of... Am I not jumping high anymore? Fuck it. Like, hey, you knew the jump was bad already. What if we made it weird? Yeah, you know, it'd be the thing I would love to see. If you wanted to make the best Strider game, you would take this game and you would take the graphics from the arcade Strider and some of the other stuff from the arcade game and put them together. And they did make that, yeah, there's that, you know, downloadable Strider game that came out, you know, probably about a decade ago now or whatever, but... And that game's not a search action game. Like, that game is not... Like, that game would be better if it was more complicated. It is very straightforward in terms of where you go and what you do. Like, they did not make a search action game with that. Sort of like the Russian attack game that Konami made. I'm pushing left to move to the right here. It's a very... Look, the magnet boots. Not the cleanest. Nothing, again, in a game full of messy movement and everything else. Key number 4, but I don't even have key number 3 yet. This game is crazy. So there's a key. There's a key 4 in. Oh, can I? If I go here, will it let me leave from this room again? I don't have to fight the bike again. I do have to fight the bike again. That's funny. Nope. Gotta walk all the way back. No. I guess jumping up there wouldn't be any benefit because I would not be able to, like, reverse slide through that gap. Anyway, I guess my point is with all of this is, you know, I think this game gets a fucking bad rap. Because it's fucked up, but not unplayably so. forces you to remember stuff about where you need to go, and you know, maybe the game could signpost some of this stuff a little bit better. But I think a lot of games of this era suffered from similar stuff like that. Of like, hey, by the way, you did see a level 4, a 4-door back in China. Oh, shit. Right. This is fun. Most vicious enemy in the game, man with giant fucking knife-looking sword and a shield. Whoops. Alright. Alright, Strider. I could have used Spark or something maybe there. I don't know. I don't know if that would have beat the shield or whatever, but... Okay. Strider. If we were building a list that was a ranking of Striders, that would be number 1 on the list. That's the best Strider game. I think the more recent Strider game they made is probably number 2, and like the arcade version is probably number 3. And that's the end of and Strider 2 in any of its form. Well, Strider 2 for the PlayStation 1, like the actual Strider 2, not the fucking Genesis Strider 2 Switchblade or whatever the hell. Strider 2 might be better than Strider 1. So Strider 2 might be number 3, and then Arcade Strider might be number 4 in your ranking of Striders. And then, yeah, Strider Returns or whatever the hell they call it. That thing is straight garbage. That's not even... That wasn't even a Capcom game. That was like a weird case of like the license for Strider was granted to US Gold for computer versions, and then they did a... like whatever it was. That Strider is a really depressing game. A depressing game. But I like the non-linearity of this game a lot. I like that, you know, again, much like DuckTales would do some years later, you know, that you are going to these areas and noticing areas you cannot get to and returning to them, whether you're finding items or key cards or both. You know, I think that's cool. A lot of games have done that in the years since, but, you know, at the time, this was... you know, not something you had seen that much of. I mean, really, you know, like, when did this come out? This is a pretty early. This is okay. Well, it's 89. That's kind of like prime time NES 1989 for Strider. So, you know, 3 years after the release of Metroid. But like in the wake of Metroid, we didn't immediately see a zillion games that are like Metroid. For as good as Metroid as I remember it, I mean, you know, it's not on this list yet, so, you know, we'll see what science has to say about Metroid one of these days. Um, there were not a ton of NES games doing that. And so, in a way, it was interesting that Strider was doing this. Also, Capcom did a really good job of marketing Strider, whether it was Nintendo Power or whoever. Like, Strider was marketed as a cool thing. It was like, look at this fucking sword guy. In an era when you didn't know what anime was, they still backdoored some anime to you in a few ways. And this was such a way. This was one of those ways, I suppose. I think this game is cool, but every part about controlling it and moving and all of that stuff is fucking terrible. Years after Super Mario Brother, like you think about the precision that we have seen on this list in terms of precision movement and just pixel perfect, snappy controls and just everything that a game can be. This game feels like the opposite of it. And the speed at which you're running up hills and down hills, and they tried to do physics in a way that just was not well manifested in the final product. The wall jump is a great example of that, just how weirdly difficult it is to pull that off. And how attempting to wall jump will reveal just how funky the physics are because you're jumping next to a wall, and how that impacts your vertical movement. And there's so many things about that. There's so many things about that specific aspect of the game. The part where it's a game that are bad. And it's unfortunate because I think that the world that they've created, the story and the translation, the localization, that stuff could be better. But again, I think by the standards of the day, Mr. Kane and the Zane Project and all the other horse shit they throw in here, I think works well enough. It's a world that is enticing. You kind of want more of it. And in a way, it's sort of sad that most of the other Strider material out there abandons this game almost looks like it could be a universe, that they could have done so much more with. I believe that regardless. They could have done so much more with Strider over the years that they did not do. Regardless of how you feel about this game or other Strider games or whatever, I think that there's a huge missed opportunity about Strider for how much people still like Strider. For when that dude appears in fighting games, how fucking psyched people are that doing the collaboration with the people that own the character, all of that, there's so much more they could have done with this that they didn't. And maybe it's is it this that the other owners of Strider were not willing to to play ball? What, did Capcom not want to invest heavily in a franchise that they did not own 100%, whole cloth? And is that why they moved on? Probably. That probably had something to do with it. If we had to guess. But in the end, I feel like we were all robbed of a future where Strider was an ongoing, frequent video game franchise with a lot of ups and downs. And I think if they had done that, then, there probably would have been more Strider properties on the other end of the equation. The popularity of the video games could have fed back into, increasing popularity with the manga and, whatever else they could have done along the way. But, hey, what are you going to do? You're going to go play Ozman? You're going to go play Cannon Dancer? I guess you could. Sure. Not an awesome game there either, but hey. This game's cool. They should have made it better. They should have It should have controlled better. The movement should have been better. The game should have been less broken. And that's a damn shame, because I like a lot of what they've done with the world in terms of here's multiple pathways through these areas, and here's, you know, like multiple reasons to revisit these areas as you get more abilities and all of that other stuff. Again, even in 89, that stuff was something that we did not see a lot of in other games. And so I think that there's certainly an ambition here. But the control stuff really does get in the way. At least it's friendly on the continues and, you know, the password system and everything. Like at least there's that. Like that's kind of the best thing you can say about it is like, for as busted as it is, at least they are friendly in that particular regard. I don't remember this game being especially difficult to complete. But you know, it's been a while. Where does that put it on our list? I mean, it's a lot better than The Simpsons Bart versus the World. It's better than the Bugs Bunny birthday blowout. It's better than Akari Warriors 2 Victory Road. It's better than the Flintstones, The Rescue of Dino and Hoppy. It's better than The Legend of Kage. Though, what if it controlled like that? Good movement in The Legend of Kage. It's better than Milan's. It's better than Millen's Secret Castle. It's better than Dino Wars Destruction of Spondylouse. It's better than Gyromite. It's better than Elevator Action. Though if you made a search action, if you made Elevator Search Action, oh man, that would be incredible. It's better than Top Gun. It's better than Dr. Chaos. It's better than Archon. It's better than Urban Champion. It's better than Muscle Tag Team Match. You know, before we just kind of blast past, let's make sure we're thinking this through. Is Strider better than Low G Man, the Low Gravity Man? It is. Yes, it is. If this was a straightforward game with like little ambition on the design end, I would probably say no. You know, Low G Man is a pretty straightforward action game. Though it does have, you know, you do get to hold a pole above your head, just like in Strider. But I think the level stuff and you know, Low G Man is the movement is janky in its own particular way as well. Strider's a better game. If you merged these two, you would have you would still have an imperfect game, but I would take the movement and control in Low G Man over the movement and control in Strider. Strider is better than Muscle Tag Team Match. Ugh. Strider is not as good as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. Strider is better than Tag Team Wrestling. Is Strider better than Karnov? Karnov is a lot of bullshit. I do like its innovative inventory system that they needed to do because it was an arcade game, and then, you know, arcade games don't have subscreens. But on the NES, Karnov would have been better if they just said, hey, here's a subscreen, so you don't have to, like, pick this to do the ladder. Like, you know, they could have, there's stuff they could have done. That is a sick ladder. If Strider had a ladder, that'd be a neat trick. Strider is better than Karnov. It's really hard to separate yourself out of this sometimes, you know, because if this was just me and you asked me the question, is Strider better than Chippendale Rescue Rangers? I would say, yeah. What? Yes. But thinking it through and trying to weigh out the different portions of the games, it's not as clean as that, you know? Strider's better than Double Dribble. It's better than Dragon Fighter. Is it better than Double Dragon 1? Double Dragon is an interesting one because in a lot of ways Double Dragon 1 is similar, you know? It's its own game. It's closer to the arcade game than Strider was to its arcade game, but that's not necessarily a positive. They tried to implement some kind of role-playing style, you know, like you're gaining XP in Double Dragon, you know, they tried to add more systems to Strider as well. But I guess ultimately, like, I don't think they, like, Strider for the NES is not them setting out going, hey, we've got to make this game for the home. It's them going, we're making a game in this universe, and they made a totally different thing. Double Dragon is them trying to make a somewhat faithful Double Dragon home game. It's not necessarily germane to this, but Strider's better than Double Dragon 1. Yeah. Strider's better. Strider's better than Willow. It's better than Blades of Steel. But really, Strider is no Kickmaster, which is not something that I would have said because I had not played Kickmaster until we started doing this. You know, it's like you have a game like Star Force. Star Force is a great execution of a very simple concept, right? It's like, hey, here it's Star Force. You're shooting. It's very straightforward. Strider is a very imperfect execution of a much grander ambition. And so weighing the two out against each other is quite difficult. I think, you know, scientifically speaking, we have to err on the side of ambition. Well, we don't. But at the same time, if we were just looking at execution, this would be a pretty different list. Strider is Strider is better than Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. It is not as good as POW. It is our new number 51. That's a game, you know, and I would only be like joking a little bit, but not really. That's one of those games that before we started doing this, if you wanted me to rank games just based on, you know, vibes and me playing them as a kid or whatever, Strider would have ended up in the top 10, top 20, something like that. I love that game. It is extremely janky, and trying to weigh that out here scientifically is why that ends up so low on the list. But when I say I think that is the best Strider game, I mean it. The arcade game is over in a fucking flash. And it's like, it looks cool. But like, you know, you get to level 2, you get past the giant fucking ape, and then you get to the weird clock gears level and you go, oh, I don't want to fucking do this. That's Strider. You know? You look at that ape and go, this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen on screen back then. But then you get past it and you're like, oh yeah, I don't know, all this other stuff. Blech. And then you get some cool boss fights, you know, some great voice. The guy says, I gotcha. And that's great. The guy says, ah, ha, 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 you know, and that's great. But that arcade game is, I think that arcade game got by at the time based on just how big the fucking dudes were. And, you know, if you had a Genesis, that was impressive there on the Genesis as well. Whatever. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to tell the story again about paying $80 for Strider. Well, whatever. I paid $80 for Strider on the Genesis, thinking, oh man, I loved Strider on the Nintendo. And then I brought it home and all the cool shit about that game was gone. And in its place was just a straightforward walk to the fucking right ass arcade game. And then you fucking sword a bunch of shit and it blows up. And then you roll credits and you go, wow, I spent $80 on this fucking thing. Fuck this. Fuck that game. Fuck that game. Moving on. Chili Bus suggests the next game. And, boy. I was going to say, could this be the worst port of this game? But, you know, this game came to computers. And it was way more broken there. Here's Smash TV. From your friends at Beam. Beam don't make no bad games. This color palette is I love that it has support for 4 controllers. So this was a dual joystick game. One to move, one to fire. But because they had to figure out a way to make that work for people who didn't want to do that, they had to come up with a lot of alternate control schemes for this thing. When it was coming to the Genesis and everything else. And so instead what we get is a game where you fire forward or Or I'm... Or you... Okay, so you hold down A to fire, and then you hold down B to lock it in. And if you're not holding down A, then holding down B will just... Well, right now it's just firing to the right. But it looks like B will just kind of fire in the last direction you locked in, which is not a sensible alternative either. With two controllers, you kind of get that feel back for, you know, the dual joystick thing, right? They pull it off. It's probably just the SNES version that had... I like that the music eventually fades out. It's like they realize, like, hey, this music doesn't sound great on this version of the game. We're not gonna make you listen to it constantly.
Good luck. You all need it.
Okay. Is that meant to be Mutoid Man? Why is it rolling? What the fuck? Like, or not Mutoid? That's meant to be the shrapnel guy. Like it's hard. That's a very difficult to read sprite. Also, this color palette is fucking terrible. The shrapnel guys seem to blow up much more quickly. This is a game that could use a hey, do you want music or sound effects toggle? Because I could go without the sound effects in this. Well, I guess if this is not going to have secret rooms the way that the Super Nintendo version does, then I guess we go up. Why aren't the enemies shooting? It's because they have bats. They're not armed with guns. They do not shoot. They are men running at you with fucking bats or whatever. It could be a machete. It's not immediately clear, but yeah, they run. Yeah, see, that guy ran up on you and he swings on you. This fucking turret man in the wall, however. Ugh. Being able to lock and unlock your direction of fire works well enough, you know. You have to imagine when they're making the game, they're kind of balancing it around that. I mean, in an ideal scenario, they're probably going to recognize, like, hey, the number of people that are going to play this with two controllers is probably pretty low. So we need to make sure that the single controller experience, or that the game rather, is balanced around this idea that no, you're not going to be able to move in one direction and shoot behind you quite as easily as you can when you're holding two joysticks, you know? And I think whether it's the limitations of the console itself determining how many people can fit on screen at a time, or it's, you know, them judiciously, you know, trying to balance the game in a sensible way, either way it kind of works out. But it's a very hard thing to forget, right? Like, this game the arcade version of this game is amazing. Also, it did not have these weird tunnels. Like, the next level just kind of scrolled right on screen. Ah! The Super Nintendo version of this game is fantastic. Because the SNES controller is perfectly suited to play this game. By having 4 buttons on the face, you effectively have 2 D-pads right in your hand. And so being able to, you know, move and shoot and all that stuff, like, it's perfect. It's perfect. There are aspects of the arcade game, of course, that look better and run smoother and all that sort of stuff. But,
Big money, big prizes. I love it.
I played a lot of the Genesis version of Smash TV recently. It's not a great version of the game. This runs okay, you know. This game on its own merits, like, is not awful. It could, or rather, it could be a whole lot worse. But this game, in the context of, like, you know, a ranking of Smash TVs, this is fucking the dividing line on the list. Like, the only stuff below this are going to be the insane home computer ports to, you know, like the Spectrum or whatever, you know. Ah. Well, at least we got rid of the turrets. You know, they managed to include, as far as I can tell, pretty much all of the power-ups. We'll see if the lob gun, the launcher, is in the boss fights or not, I guess. Assuming we get there. I mean, we should be like 1 or 2 rooms away from the end of level 1. sometimes the direction changes on firing could be a little smoother. The stop-start on the music is really weird. Here we go. The color palette sucks. Like, it just... Like, it reminds me of a Spectrum game in a lot of ways. Like, it just looks so fucked up. Oh, jeez. Look at this fucking guy. Ah. I feel like mechanically, this boss fight is pretty different from what it is supposed to be. No way. Okay, I was gonna say, does he shoot at all? Like, we didn't get the turrets mounted on the front of the tank treads. Pretty underwhelming. And ugly. Like, every screen, like again, just the colors and stuff, so ugly. Orbs. Yep, sure enough. Sure enough, it's orbs. These orbs are, I'm gonna say, larger than they would have been compared to the arcade version. As much as I do love Smash TV, I have to admit, like, there's something to this game that loses momentum after the first level. I think the first level enemies of just like, here's this wave of dudes, recognizable as like there are guys coming to kill you en masse. But I think it loses a little bit when you get to the second level and it's just like, here's orbs and just weird, here's a bunch of weird shit. Like this stuff. Like, what is this? And these things that I want to say the game refers to as buffaloes. Boy, and this audio of just with like no lower, you know, explosion noises or any kind of just multiple hours of you listening to the noise channel. And then the music starts back up again for 30 seconds or so.
Big money, big prizes. I love it.
But again, like at least it runs at a relatively smooth speed. Like there's certainly, again, when we get into the computer versions of this, the various ports of this that existed, there's a lot of straight up trash out there. This is like in some ways better than I expected it to be. As someone who I don't know that I've ever spent much time with this. I'm sure I fired it up for a minute here and there. But in this day and age, there's not a lot of great reasons to play this version of the game. You can get several significantly better versions of Smash TV in a lot of different places these days. So this is kind of one of those ports that just vanishes to time, where you're just like, oh yeah, it did come out there, but don't, like, unless you've got some real specific nostalgia for this version of the game, there's never a reason to play it ever again. But for whatever reason, I decided that the achievements in the Genesis version of the game looked pretty attainable, and so I believe I got all of the retro achievements in Smash TV for the Genesis. This one, I don't know. Turtles nearby. Ah, orbs. At least when there's orbs, we get a different type of buzzing noise. Ugh. It's getting rough. This is not entirely different to how my runs of the arcade version of Smash TV go, where I get to a point somewhere in level 2 where it just goes south for me. These are fast, I'm told. All right. Oh. I missed the speech when you're picking up stuff. You know, yeah, this is, you know, hey. There's a lot of flavor that they can't really replicate here. You know, they do have some speech, but not nearly all of it. Buffalo herd nearby. All right. You know, playing with two controllers gets you obviously like a more direct level of control over it. The thing I'll say about it is like, you know, it's nice that it runs well. Like it runs at a pretty constant speed. Like, you know, that is such a key part of this game that if it had been janky in that specific way, this would be a much, much, much worse game. So, you know, good on Beam for prioritizing the things that matter about Smash TV. In you know, with the limitations that they had to, you know, it's ugly. The colors are terrible. The audio is really lackluster. But at least it does that. At least it does that. So, yeah, you know, hey, this could be a whole lot worse. This could be a whole lot worse. And it's pretty late in the NES life cycle. I mean, again, this is a game that came out on 16-bit machines and felt, you know, current, relatively current there. So yeah, I don't know. I always, you know, obviously Total Carnage came out as a sequel to Smash TV, sort of. And we never really got anything else quite like this out of, you know, Midway, Williams, whatever, you know. It's yeah, I don't know. Total Carnage is a cool game too, but it's no Smash TV. In Total Carnage, you get Ed Boon doing the voice of the bad guy, and that's fun. But Total Carnage is a fucking weird. It's a weird thing. I had a conversation. I heard from Mark Turmel that he had an idea about what a Smash TV sequel would look like, and that, you know, there was the idea of what they would make, and it would be, you know, like a 4-player kind of tabletop where you had one player at every position on it, that they never got to make. I would have loved to have seen another Smash TV. I think the futuristic game show, the Running Man conceit, I think is something that while it does pop up quite a lot in you know, in all of fiction over the years, I could do with a little bit more of it here and there. I don't know. As reality television becomes more and more of a fucking thing, it feels like we inch closer and closer to, you know, the reality of that whole thing. Yeah, the finals kind of does that, and I like that as a motif. I love that as a motif. Because you get to have fun with a bombastic host, you know, and a lot of games have tried to do that. I don't think anyone has really done it quite as well as Smash TV. I mean, the finals does okay with their stuff, but like their commentary is not great. It's much more straightforward. Like, you want something that's more sinister. Smash TV does a good job with sinister, but at the same time, Smash TV, you know, it gets that RoboCop. It leans a lot on that RoboCop dialogue that they borrowed. But you do get to fight the host of the show at the end in weird tank form, and that's fun. Yeah. Hell of a game, Smash TV. I have a Smash TV cabinet out in my garage. One of my favorite games of all time. But this version, less so. That said, I am impressed with it in terms of, again, they prioritized the stuff that matters, right? They focused on making sure that the game played about as well as it could for what it was, and you gotta give it to them for that. At least it's better than Total Recall. It's better than Dick Tracy. Let's see. It's better than Remote Control. Another game show. It's better than Akari Warriors? Yeah, it is. But we're kind of... It's going to creep up some more, but maybe not too much. It is better than the port of Narc. Yeah, we're kind of... It's, It's better than that port of Narc. Is it better than Wizards and Warriors? This is another hard one because I really don't like Wizards and Warriors. I really, like, on a personal level. The game is fucking terrible. And I played so much of it when it was new. I played so much of that game when it first came out, and just like banged my head against it and was like, what a great game, you know. And it took on this weird kind of like almost legendary, like, I don't know, Wizards and Warriors, maybe more so the sequel, became like a standout game in a weird way, that I don't think it deserves. I don't think Iron Sword, well, you know, whatever. We'll get to Iron Sword someday. This is kind of right in here, you know. I don't think it's just better than Rambo, because Rambo is like a fascinating. Rambo is fascinating. It's better than Narc, but it's no Wizards and Warriors. Actually, I guess that's the hard truth that I'm forcing myself to come to here. Is that it's our new number 119. Congratulations to Smash TV. That's better than I thought it would fare, to be honest with you. I was expecting Smash TV to be some real dog shit. And it's not a good game, hey, it's not a great version of the game, but at least it plays okay. And they include the option for 2 joysticks if you want to play it the right way, which is nice of them to do. Even in 2-player mode, you can hook up like the 4 score or whatever and do all that. Garrett suggested the next game. This is a leftover from last week. I don't know what this game is. Is it an unlicensed game? I really don't know. No, this is licensed. I'm really not sure what we're in for. I tried to guess at this last week and said, like, I bet it's something like Section Z or like Mag Max. Like it just the name of it just sounded like that to me. But this is a game called Isolated Warrior. Max Maverick, our hero, in this story fights with alien creatures that have invaded his planet. VAP. What is this? 1990. It's a VAP game. Oh, yeah, well, Mag Max kind of not wrong, I guess, in a weird way. Did that say that have invaded his planet from and unknown world? Okay, I was like, there's a typo in there somewhere. All right, that guy's got a pistol. This is... we got a W. I mean, we want the W. We don't want an L. We're taking no L's. All W's. All W's into the chat. What if I just, like, overnight became, like, that type of live streamer? Oh, you can double jump. That's interesting. And now I have to jump to face these guys because, as you can see by the shadows, they're up in the air. This gun sucks ass. Anytime they, like, make a wide shot gun that they can't be bothered to have any shot in front of you or, like, anything close to in front of you, like this wide of an angle, this is terrible. Did I use all my bombs? I keep thinking when he does that flip on the double jump that he's gonna, like, turn into a robot. Oh, did I, like, burn a bunch of... No, okay. I was like, are the flips some kind of evasive maneuver that I have a limited number of? Doesn't seem like it. This is fucking terrible, dude. This gun is a crime. Alright, maybe we need to take a bunch of L's. Clearly the W's are fucking terrible. Hey, I can hit the enemy now. I'm not really quite sure what that L is doing. I was just making my bombs better. Oh, we can change weapons, I see. So I've had this crazy level 3 business over here this whole time. This is not good. I don't know. I'm a Zaxxon fan, so, you know, like, isometric games, I'm all for them. But, you know, Viewpoint, that's cool. This game needs more lines on the ground to help you line up your shots. You know, this needs, like, a grid pattern on the ground so you can have a better sense of like your aim, how far you might need to move in order to line up a shot. There's almost something to this, but it's just, I don't know. At least you got to give him some kind of credit for knowing that they needed to put shadows under these enemies so you know exactly when they're off the ground and when you need to jump up and when you need to, you know, like what's a ground-based enemy and what's an airborne enemy. Computer distribution of war forces confirmed. Captain Max Maverick is the only survivor of the special force. There he is. Code number 5963. Now we got jet boosts. Okay, at least my wide shot has a forward shooting shot now that I've leveled it up 7 fucking times. Despite flying over water, I can still jump. Oh, that's speed. Oh no. Oh, I upgraded too much and now my wide shot doesn't shoot forward anymore. It's terrible. So here's your max level wide shot. Oh, well, we fucked that up. Here you go. Now start this level with no gun. I feel like I should not lose any mobility when I'm jumping, given that I'm already flying. Like, the idea that I move slower in the air while doing this jump is nonsense. I feel like this game was made by people that was like, hey, we heard it was cool to have bad guns in games. Okay, that you do die over there. Shout out to all the isolated warriors out there in the chat. Yeah, you know, this game is not without merit for sure, but it's like I said, it's just janky enough that I'm finding it very unpleasant to play. It's a well-made bad idea. It's like the snakes in Smash TV, and here we get a ton of slowdown. Oh, even though those are technically up high, I do not need to jump to hit them. Like, they can't even stick to their own rules about perspective. That's unfortunate. What the hell am I looking at, indeed? It's a great achievement name. A familiar sight unfolds before Max as an eerie breeze, Lake Erie. Does it take place at Lake Erie? Is he seeing an illusion? Back to walking. You gotta hoof it, Max. Putting a bunch of power-up balls in an area where I take damage when I walk is mean. I'm not even sure what those power-up balls do. It's like you kind of almost have to double jump in those cases, but double jumping uses the bombs. I was hoping that the balls would be a life power-up, but hey. Ah, okay. We can hold down jump to do our big jump. And we won't have to use a bomb. Got it. So much nuance. Yeah, like, there's something likable about this, just, you know, like... It's visually interesting. You know, for the most part, not a flickery mess. But I am not enjoying this. This is not, like... Man, how much smaller were those pieces going to get? I'm all the way back here? Oh, no. Okay. No, I am way back here. Ugh. These warriors were isolated for a reason. All right, all my isolated warriors out there, you're going to sign up for this course, and then I'm going to teach you the power of persuasion. And once you know that, these females will be lining up. Oh, God. Isolation is voluntary. Vol ISOs. With my course. Ugh. There's so much goo. That. This is interesting, but not good. You know, it's tempting to want to give this game some kind of pass because it's like it looks all right, you know, it's isometric and that's always fun. Like it looks nice in some ways. It looks designed, but you know, rough weapons. You know, the movement's kind of janky, maybe a little overly straightforward in spots. You have two weapons, one of which is fucking trash. I'll put it this way, it's no magician. You know, it's yeah, I don't know. Like, you know, it's not as hmm. I think the game that it reminds me of most is probably Mag Max, and it's better than that. Mag Max is all the way down here, right? Yeah. But it's you know, it's a basic shooter with kind of bad weapons and, you know, like not great options for growth. And so the camera perspective, you know, having that isometric perspective is cool, but it only carries it so far. Um hmm. It's yeah, it's below this block of stuff here. It's no Nightshade. Jaws is a somewhat better game, but it's kind of we're kind of in there. I don't know. It's no Dino Wars Destruction of Spondulus. Spiritual Warfare is a better game, but ever so slightly. It's better. It's better than that version of 720. It's definitely better than that version of 720 for sure. Better than Fist of the North Star. So we're kind of here-ish. Is it better than Pinball? I mean, Pinball has a cool slot machine in it. And a mini game where you kind of play Breakout. You know, checking off most of the boxes of what you would want out of a pinball game, really. It's better than 720. It's better than Pinball, but it's no Spiritual Warfare. It's our new number 193. Do you think they started with isometric and then eventually came to Isolated Warrior? Because I mean, it's isomate. We keep talking about this isometric shooter we're making. And there you have it, number 193. Okay, what's next? Bobby Dice Roller wanted to see this one, and this seems like a game that this seems like another game that would not have the this sounds like an unlicensed game, but it is not apparently. It came with special 3D glasses according to the box art I'm looking at. It's called Orb 3D. From High Tech Expressions, a manufacturer of a lot of bad stuff. I had never heard of this. I don't know what this is. I looked it up to make sure it was real, and was greeted by information that this was something that came out on computers under a different name, perhaps. And I'm not really sure what else to make of it. An evil wizard known as Kron threatens the safety of the entire galaxy. 30 chambers stand between you and Kron. Each chamber contains manifestations of the wizard's black magic. Kron must be stopped. The fate of the galaxy is in your hands. Orb. Okay, so I'm moving these things on the side here. I'm basically playing Pong with myself. Okay, I can hit the button and it'll change directions. To Vern's. What? Vern's Orborama. Eat here. Okay, okay. What? To the hole. I hit B and it just says to the hole. Okay, so B will take me to Vern's. And then B will take me back to the hole. Okay, there. So do I need to hit? Okay, so I kind of need to like change direct. You got to remember this game came with 3D glasses, and then like now that I'm realizing that, like that's what they were trying to make. So if you think about the orb as moving in 3D space, I need to hit the button to change the orb's direction of travel, and as it changes directions, it moves into the fore or background. And so I need to try to touch these bubbles, I'm guessing. But I need to hit the button a little early because it takes time for the orb to submerge into the background. Fuel low. Multiple orbs. Why? Why orb? We did it. We did it. This is a game. It makes sense that this was like on, was it this on Commodore? Like what computer did this appear on? This game has the vibe of, okay, so there's a PC version and a Commodore game. Okay. This game has the vibe of a game that's on a floppy disk that you got your hands on and you don't know what it is or where it came from. And then you play it and you don't understand it at all. Like Ancipital, the Jeff Minter classic, in some ways. And it's weird, you know, it's just like, and this one is bowling pins, and this one is friggin' worms, man. Like, it's got that feel to it. It's like, it's the Mega Mania effect of, hey man, it's a space shooter, but what if you were shooting dice and all this other stuff? Evil poker chips are coming to kill you, you know, like, you know how video games be doing. We're hatching butterflies over here. What does Vern's do? Let's go to Vern's. To the hole. Okay. The movement is bad. Like the orb kind of cheats. In some ways, it feels like it's cheating in your favor, where like you are not necessarily getting the exact perfect angles to line up these shots, but the orb abides and tries to, you know, basically aim at the things you need to hit. But it makes the whole thing feel really shitty. Like you feel very disconnected from the action because you kind of never know how the orb is going to react. And the music is so How is this a licensed game? A Cheshire Cat level, okay. Let's add another layer of fucking weird luck to this thing by having the target warp around the screen. Suck it. See? Friggin' dice. And we need to get 24. So, I mean, I like that. So this does remind me of Ancipidal, the Jeff Minter game. Because, like, it is a weirdly kind of simple, but also the rules to each level are different enough that, you know, you kind of, and you do have to puzzle them out a little bit. What happens if I go over? Okay. Oh. Come on. You piece of garbage! Ah! Stupid thing. Come on. Oh, now we're playing what, Othello? Or first have to get them all. I was wondering if you could turn them off. I figured the answer was yes. Okay, we just had to get 5 in a row. Sure. The Pong part of it feels terrible. And again, the orb movement is not pure physics. And so, like, when it tries to help you by sort of having the orb go in a direction of a target, it's never quite what you want it to be. And so, like, in a lot of ways, like, this game with, like, better mechanics is at least, like, it's an interesting little brain teaser. You know, it's like, hey, can you parse out the rules of each one of these levels? Like, there's a shared mechanic here that you're gonna get and understand and whatever, and we're gonna go to Vern's. Oh, God! Guys, we went to Vern's. With some, like, better movement or better mechanic to it or something, this would be more engaging. But, like, this style of, like, hey, look at our weird puzzle. And again, that idea of hey, there's going to be a single mechanic in this game, and you're going to, have to get good at that specific mechanic, but the rules of the game, the puzzles we're going to present you with, you'll have to parse on the fly and sight read this concept. I think that's interesting, but this also sucks. Do we start at level 10? Sure do. To Vern's! I hit the money and it opened all the holes. That's what money does. Presentation-wise, a real disaster. That music, the repetitive music, I'm happy to not be hearing it right now. there's something to that. Like I said, it reminds me specifically of Jeff Minter's Ancipithel, which had a very, but that had a hint button in it that I didn't know for years and decades until that Minter collection came out, that you could hit a button and it would tell you a hint about what the rules of the level were. Here, the rules of the level are not that hard to puzzle out once you kind of get a sense of it. But it's interesting. Orb 3D. I want to like Orb 3D, to be honest with you. But the Pong, every part of the you on the controls are terrible. It feels like a struggle to do what you're trying to do, and that makes it a very miserable experience. I'm intrigued by the mystery of Vern's. What happens at Vern's? What do you do at Vern's? Why was there a monster? I hit the eyeballs of the monster. What do you mean, Vern? But yeah, it's got to be one. It's got to be both, right? All the ways it controls are terrible, but if you just had direct control of the orb, like it was a cursor, and you just like mouse clicked around and click on this, like that wouldn't be fun either. So the design of it is congruous, I guess I would say. I just don't think that aspect of the game is very good, and wish that it, could be completely removed and replaced with something else. There needs to be some kind of action-y, video gamey thing in there that makes it so you can't just immediately click on the things that you're trying to click on, because then it would be too easy. Or you'd have to redesign a lot of the puzzles around the idea of just having a mouse, which is another way to go, I guess. The time crunch aspect of it is, well, you need some kind of struggle, right? It has to end somewhere. But the time aspect of it is not a great... I'm like falling asleep now. Oh. The music of Orb 3D drained all the energy out of my body, and now I have to lay down. Help. We're drifting away. Orb 3D is intriguing, and I appreciate Orb 3D again as someone. It is the NES's equivalent of, check out, like, here's a weird thing that's unlike everything you've ever seen, or not. It has its parallels, but it's not something that you're going to find on that platform very often, and it's like it has a mystery to it, and I like that about it. That's a game that if you rented that thing, you'd be like, what the fuck am I even looking at? And if you figured it out, you'd be like, hey man, like, check it out. I figured out this puzzle. I figured out all these weird puzzles. But like the controls and the idea of what you're doing in terms of playing Pong with yourself to interact with this game board, I think sucks. I think that stuff straight up sucks, man. But again, it's a cool idea that feels very out of place on the NES, especially for like 1990. Just audio visually, there were just so many more opportunities for so many deeper games on the platform that this thing feels very out of step. If it was 1986 and you paid £3 for this on a cassette tape and went home and put it in your Specky, then this game would be someone's favorite game. The idea of this taken against this catalog on the NES is a much harder sell. So yeah. Where does this end up on the list? I am I am intrigued by the mysteries of Orb 3D. Yes, if the Mastertronic name was on this, that would make a ton of sense. That would make a ton of sense. I want to see the computer versions of this now. They came out under a different name. Let me look it up real quick. All right, high-tech expressions. All right, Software Toolworks put it out in 89. But under what name? Beyond the Black Hole. And that came to DOS as well as the Commodore 64. Yeah. Apparently it had an impressive 3D effect, according to reviews. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. But if it had like better presentation and again, if it had better presentation and better control over what was happening or just like something different about the way you were controlling it, I think this could be a very different conversation where you'd be like, oh, this is an inventive little puzzle game and it's like a fun mystery. And again, it's one of those games. There are not a lot of these, but you know, I think about like, and maybe it's just because I don't know the rules to Zenji, but I think about Zenji. I think about, again, Ancipitol is like a pretty direct comparison point there in terms of just like, hey, every level is going to be a different flip of the rules around this same basic concept. I like that as a game. I like that as a game design, you know? But the execution here is kind of where this thing flounders. But it is such a different thing. It is in some ways the most computer game on this list, even more so than Maniac fucking Mansion, and Archon and some of the other stuff on here that, you know, rightfully, Platoon even, which, you know, is a much easier to swallow on a much older, weirder computer. Yeah, so it's like taken against some of this stuff, it becomes like very hard to stick up for it. You know, it's no Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Maybe it's very easy to put this on a list. Maybe it's, you know, because in some ways the most direct touchstone is Action 52. Because mechanically this feels like something that would, you know, this game is much deeper than anything on Action 52. But in terms of the thing you are doing, bouncing a ball back and forth and that shit feels straight out of Action 52. Is this better or worse than Action 52 though? Like there's something to this. But I would say there's something to Cheetah Man as well. Cheetah Man 2, or, you know, at least it's got the music. Yes, if this was, if Camerica, if Codemasters put out Quattro Puzzle, and this was one of the games on it, if this was like the, quote, good game on it, and everything else was like weird single screen, you know, small games, that's where this belongs. This is better than Action 52, and also like better than Back to the Future 2 and 3. It's better than Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But I think you'd be better served with a copy of Master Chew and the Drunkard Hugh. Or who? Hugh. Hugh? And so it's our new number 322. Which in some ways is a shame. There are aspects of that. Again, that's something that like I am like very personally interested in. But scientifically speaking, number 322. Congratulations to Orb 3D. All right, let's try and get one more in here. This is also a carryover from last week. Tim wanted to see this one. It is unlicensed, so watch out. This is the ultimate stuntman. From MCMXC. What a year it was. Okay, this is the attract mode here. Okay, let's play. Kidnapped! May 1997. These were the phones we used in 1997. Ultimate Stuntman, Dr. Evil has kidnapped Jenny Aykroyd. What's happening here? You must chase after him and rescue the young scientist. Android 1. Techno Beast. Big scrollers, man. In some ways, it's fascinating to see like these big scrolling ass scrolly things on not a Commodore 64, you know? Okay, so it's like okay, so this is bad Spy Hunter then, huh? Or is it good Spy Hunter? It's bad Spy Hunter. Oh, apparently I just used up all my shots. What? Okay, so A is like a turbo boost, and the B button is shoot. Need more opportunities to recover life here. Oh no. You know, if we were doing cross-platform ranking here, like this would be a fun conversation we could have about this game versus Action Fighter for the Master System. Which I would take the Master System version of Action Fighter over, oh man, boss fight. Over the arcade version. Action Fighter is sick. It's like it's like Spy Hunter and then also Xevious. Am I back at the start of the goddamn level? I don't know, U.S. Far out. Like, what? That was not an extra. I thought maybe it was glowing, so it seemed like something I should pick up. Oh. Really? You do driving and shooting. It's like Grand Theft Auto. Well, sadly, our journey is at an end here. The ultimate stuntman could not defeat the boxes unless it's got a Strider-style wall jump. Music is filthy. Oh! It's sick. Yeah, I gotta... Oh, come on now. This is interesting. This is definitely, like, it's a shame that, like, none of it is... If this was all just slightly better, like, it's very smooth scrolling. Even the on-foot stuff is, like, very peppy. You know? It's just like the life system is not necessarily conducive to the rest of the game. Like, the limited life that you have compared to some of the things it's throwing at you and the speed at which it is doing so, like, that could be done better, I guess I would say. Also weird that he stops before the boss fight, but I guess, you know, video games. Okay, let's try to collect some extras. Perfect. Oh, like that number's counting down every time I collect a key, so I probably shouldn't miss keys. Great, we didn't miss a key. Shit, man. Okay, so I let off the button to climb, and then when I hit A or B, I can move the cursor around to keep my guy safe. Ah! It's like instead of making a 4-game multi-cart, they said, what if we just integrated those into one game? People will think we're geniuses. And they were right. Ah! Unfortunately, this is not any fun to actually do. Evil mice. This game is ridiculous. It feels like a fake video game. But we're going to start all the way back here, huh? All right. All right, Ultimate Stuntman. Interesting. That's really neat. And you know, like everything kind of controls just well enough to where, you know, the movement and everything is kind of moving in the right direction or the movement is smooth and slick enough to kind of make it feel better than it is. And that goes a long way. You know, the music is very peppy. It's got that very Commodore 64, you know, audio vibe to it. But I think this is like better than a lot of the other Codemasters kind of Camerica type stuff. It's intriguing. Definitely more so than the average. I mean, like better than a lot of the other unlicensed games for sure. But where does it go on our list? It's certainly better than American Gladiators. It's better than Platoon. It's better than that god-awful port of Bad Dudes. It's you know, it's better than Karate Kid. We're kind of in here. It's no Gremlins 2 the new batch. Is it better than Ninja Kid? I love Ninja Kid. But this is better than Ninja Kid. Is it better than the NES version of Skate or Die? Certainly not the best version of the game. Is Mock Rider a better game? I like the music in Mock Rider. I don't think it's better than Captain Skyhawk. You should flip-flop these. Captain Skyhawk should be the unlicensed game. This is better than Mach Rider and Skater Die. This is our new number 214. The ultimate Stuntman. It's a neat game. It's a neat game. A lot of ups and downs this week, huh? I was forced to come to terms with Strider as it really stands scientifically, which, felt like a bullet. But also, that game stands up in the ways that the reasons I like Strider are still there. The reasons why that is the best Strider game are still intact. But yeah, what a weird batch. Smash TV, just kind of a, better than you might think. Isolated Warrior is a game I will probably never play again. It has its upsides for sure, but I'm not interested. Orb 3D, I am endlessly intrigued by. I will lose sleep thinking about the orb. I will continue to think about the orb. Pondering a world where Orb 3D is better. There's a way to make that a better game. I just don't know what it is. And the Ultimate Stuntman, which I had, like you hear about Ultimate Stuntman a lot over the years. I had forgotten that thing. That's what that was. But yeah, that's a neat one as well. A couple of games we did not get to this week that we will use to start the list for next week. Tim wanted to see RoboCop 2. Hopefully it's better than RoboCop 1. And Billy OK wanted to see a game called Power Punch 2. It's an alien boxing game. So come back next week and we'll play Power Punch 2. The follow-up to the hit game Power Punch. Everyone loved Power Punch 1. So Power Punch 2 is probably twice as good, right? Otherwise they wouldn't have made a second one. Be back next week with all that fun stuff. Thanks everybody for watching. If you want to contribute to the list and pick games yourself, you can join the advisory panel today over at patreon.com/Jeff Gerstmann. Thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you next week.